Hello and welcome to the Muppets Mayhem Backstage Pass, the unofficial companion podcast to the Muppets Mayhem, presented by toughpicks.com. This is the podcast where we tour through every episode of the Muppets Mayhem to uncover behind-the-scenes stories, Easter eggs, and more with the talented cast and crew who helped put the series together. I'm your host, dedicated Mayhead Joe Hennis. Today, we are talking about track 4, The Times They Are A-Changin, in which the band collaborates with a bunch of musicians, and sisters Nora and Hannah don't collaborate with each other at all. This week, we are simply bursting with amazing guests. First up, he's a co-creator and executive producer of the Muppets Mayhem. Please welcome Jeff Yorks back to the podcast. Hey, Jeff.
Hi. Thanks for having me back. I can't believe
Thanks for
I'm
coming back.
Thank you.
Glad you made it. Next up, he's another co-creator and executive producer, as well as the performer behind that consummate ivory tickler, Dr. Teeth. Please welcome Bill Barretta back to the podcast. Hello, Bill.
Woo, woo, woo.
And there's an ambulance going by.
Woo.
Next up, an actress who has appeared on Degrassi: The Next Generation, The Mysterious Benedict Society, and that terrific film, The Breadwinner. On the Muppets Mayhem, she plays the social media influencer Hannah. Please welcome Saara Chaudry to the podcast. Hi, Saara. Hi. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Finally, we have an actress and YouTube superstar who performs the budding record executive and Electric Mayhem band manager, Nora. Please welcome Lilly Singh to the podcast. Hi, Lilly.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having us.
Wonderful. It's such a treat to get to talk to you both. Also, I just have to tell you, you've done such an incredible job on this show. I love both of your characters so much, and it must be so difficult to find ways to be entertaining as humans amongst all the chaos of the Muppets. Is that true? It must be.
100%. You know what? It was my dream. I was like, oh my God, I got this role for the first time in my life. I might be #1 on the call sheet. And then I got humbled real quick when all of the Muppets were 1 to 6 on the call sheet. And I was like, oh yeah, this is about them. This is about, but it's been a joy to just be alongside them because they're the stars of the show and we get to help make them shine. So it's really awesome.
It's true. Can you each give us like just a real brief recap about how you learned about the project, what your auditions were like, how you got the role? Saara, we can start with you.
Yeah, sure. I think, I as with most projects, I received an email from my team just letting me know what the project was, that they were interested in having me tape for it. I had gone through a couple rounds of self-tapes that I just kind of like made at home. I was actually shooting one of them was made in Toronto, and I actually watched my first audition the other day just for fun.
You did?
For a little full circle moment. I still have it. And then
do you see a difference? Did you see a difference? Like, oh, I guess you haven't seen the last one then, right? You saw your first one, you said?
Yeah.
I just wonder it'd be interesting to see the difference, if there was any adjustments you made or things you did.
There were. I remember getting like notes back, and I remember freaking out because one of the emails like halfway through the audition process was like casting saying to my team, she's very right for this. And I was like, what does that mean? Like, oh my God. But yeah. And then my last round of auditions was with, or like the last screen test, I guess, was with Lilly over Zoom.
Right.
And that's when I met all of you lovely humans and yeah.
I don't recall. Was it the same scene that you read each time? Do you remember what it was?
It was the same 2 scenes. It was one of the scenes is in this episode that we're about to talk about. And then the other scene was one of the scenes from episode 1, I think.
Right. It was the scene in the den during the PowerPoint presentation?
Yeah, it's the Powerpoint that we cut.
Yeah.
You'll have to point out the scene in this episode once we
I will.
Yeah, great.
But the chemistry was so clear when we saw them do it together. And you could imagine, I mean, it's hard too over Zoom, but you could just tell, it felt right.
Lilly, what was it like for you?
Well, yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I got an email, and at this point in my life, I was very much so prioritizing fun. I've done a lot of cool things in my life, but I was like, I want to just make sure whatever projects I do next are fun and full of joy. And so when I got an email about the Muppets, I was like, the universe has answered my call, because there's not many other things that are as joyous as the Muppets. So I auditioned as well. I was traveling. I did a few tapes, and then I also had to do a chemistry read over Zoom with Bill and Jeff and everyone. And I remember calling my agent being like, are there going to be Muppets on this Zoom right now? Am I going to log on and there's Muppets on the Zoom? Like, I need to know. There were not. It was Bill, but it was still good. It was still good. And I will never forget this. It was my reminder to always be a good and kind human being, because the moment I signed on to Zoom, Bill said to me, you don't remember this, but we've met before. And I went, uh-oh, tell me how we've met before. And he said, you shot with the Swedish Chef, and you were kind enough to make my son a video who was a fan. And my response was, yes, I am that kindness person that did that. I'm glad that you remember that right now at the beginning of this audition.
Sure,
of course.
that.
It was for his birthday too. You said happy birthday to him, and he just couldn't believe it. He was like so taken, and I never forgot that.
Oh my God. And here we are, baby.
Yeah,
I'm gonna second that. I think the first impression I got when we logged on, I did one scene on my own, and then Lilly came on, or it was vice versa. I don't know. But the first thing that she said to me, she was like, "Hey," and immediately she was like, "Okay, so this is what we're gonna do." She didn't care that like all the guys were like on the Zoom. She was like, "Okay, I'm gonna tell you what we're doing."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Let me tell you, like, all is good, like we're just gonna have fun, just be present with me, like whatever." And I was just like, oh my God, nerves gone. I was just like, okay, I'm here.
It's really sweet and also annoying of me because I'm a control freak, obviously. But
yeah, I know what it feels
it's very
like.
Nora.
Like,
it's very Nora.
No, and you know, we were just taken with Lilly right away, you know, because we knew she had a very playful side, right? Because I was familiar with her social media side of her world and her talk show, but to see her play something a little more, you know, and not,
dude,
I don't want to say big, but just grounded, real, true, totally. You know, was just amazing, because it seemed effortless. You know, she just it didn't seem like she'd been doing anything other than that. So I just thought, wow. She's great. Yeah.
Best podcast ever.
Yeah, this is just a back padding podcast. We're just going to compliment each other for the next hour.
Yeah, you guys are unbelievable. You are the most beautiful and lovely people I've ever met in my life. No, you are.
No, you are. No, you
Come on. No, you are.
Do you remember what the first thing you filmed with the Muppets was for the show, for each of you?
I do. My first scene, I'm quite certain, was after the band has their rager, and I come in to be like, well, what are you doing? Why did you have that rager in the backyard? Everyone's gonna be mad. The cops are gonna be mad. I told you to get out of the shack. That was the first. So it was the scene with all of the band members. It was a huge setup. I remember it was a huge camera movement as well. We had this camera doing like a 360 turnover and drum set.
And cut.
Yes, it was like a huge scene I was thrust into, and I was just like fronting. I was like, okay, we're going to pretend we're not freaking out. We're going to do this scene, but I was dying inside for sure.
Yeah, like right in the middle of the chaos too.
Yeah,
I'm sure that helped. Yeah.
I think we cut that.
I think mine was similar. I can't remember whether it was a group scene first or whether it was just, I think it was a group scene first, where it was like all of us at once. It was the scene where like Animal is chasing JJ and Taj has like the tea or something and like drops it.
So from episode 7.
Yeah, like we were shooting out of order, because remember I came in like 2 weeks later.
So you guys, I thought you did the party scene at your house at Saara's house first.
That was
Wasn't
after.
It?
No.
Was it after?
No. So this is the thing. You remember that like pink outfit where my hair was in a bun?
No. Oh yeah, your bun.
Yeah, yes, that's how I remember that. That was the first thing.
Okay.
And then like later in the day, I had scenes alone, and I was like, oh my God. And it was like alone as in just me and Zoot, and just me and Floyd. And it was me giving Zoot a haircut and doing Floyd's makeup. or something.
Oh,
And,
or Taj's makeup too, right?
and then
but
I think that
Floyd
was
in
the
the
next.
chair.
I think that was the next day,
Oh, I see. Okay.
or it might have been all of the same day. Who knows?
I can't remember. It was so many
Yeah.
different things. Like you said, you guys had to jump around from show to show and scene to
Yeah.
scene.
But I just remember it just being chaos, and and Dave, in the scene where I was cutting Zoot's hair, like Dave was like on a little like rolly underneath me, and I was like, whoa, like this is so crazy. This is like the magic and the madness and the science behind how these guys make this work. Like I had no warning going in. They were just like, by the way, like sets are built like 3-4 feet up. Enjoy, have fun. Like I was just, I had no warning. I didn't know that there were like holes in the ground, or I had to like not fall in. But yeah, it was pretty awesome. And Bill, I remember you came up to Dave when we were shooting that scene where I'm cutting his hair, and you whispered something in his ear.
Oh, really?
Do you remember what it was? Because you whispered something in his ear, and I was like, oh, like, do you have notes for me? You were just dead silent. You were like, no.
Nothing for you. You're good.
Yeah, nothing for you. And
no.
and all I remember like being able to hear was like, just like surprise her. That's all I remember you hearing.
I don't remember what I said. I wish I did. I have a terrible memory. I wish I did remember what it was, but I do recall now the bit about I had nothing to. I thought you were just great. I just wanted Dave to mess with you a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, I was like,
something
this is a
different.
test. I was like, this is a first day test, seeing if I could like riff off the Muppets energy. I think it worked, but it was pretty cool.
Hey, Joe, can I just ask one quick question that we asked Taj?
Yeah, of course.
I'm just curious. The idea of shooting out of order the way we did, right? Shows, scenes. How did you feel about that process? Because in one way, it's a big, long movie, right? So you have all that information ahead of time. Does that feed your character, or does it do both? Does it feed your character, but then is it difficult because now you've got to remember where you were in that episode? Is it a beneficial thing? What are the pros and cons to being an actor who has to kind of block shoot and approach scenes like that?
I mean, for me personally, I think there's pros and cons. I mean, I've never had an experience where I shot something from in order, beginning to end. I've never had that experience. It feels like that would be really cool because you'd be able to like know where your character is at all times and you wouldn't have to go back and figure it out. Having said that, from like a human standpoint, getting to be able to know people and like me getting to be able to know Saara and know Taj, and then okay, now we have a scene where like we're at a party, we're supposed to be really good friends. We're actually really good friends at that point. So there's no lying. So, but I won't lie. For me, I had to, before we shot any scene, I did have to read everything before and everything after to be like, I had notes in my script that was like, Nora right now is still really insecure because XYZ just happened before this. This has not happened yet. So like, you do have to put yourself in that headspace, which is a little challenging, but like, that's part of the fun.
Did you say XYZ?
Yes, I'm Canadian.
Yeah,
XYZ, baby.
Cool.
XYZ.
Sure. I
thought you were talking about the music producer who appears in the show.
It's crazy how so many people from around the world say Zed. It's almost like it's the correct way to say it.
Well, I think we've just had some shade thrown in our direction as Americans.
Well, how about Saara? But I'm just curious, Saara, if she had her kind of feeling towards that.
Right before, I think it was like the summer before we shot Muppets, I had shot a show, like we shot 3 seasons, season 3, 4, and 5 of a show that I had been doing for a little while, all at once. And so after that experience, I was like, I am ready for war. Like I am ready for anything. But like at that point, we were jumping from season 5 to season 3 to season midway through season 4 in a day.
Oh wow.
And so
that's big.
And so it was kind of nuts, but it was a really amazing practice for me as an actor to kind of jump between and be able to kind of just fine tune skill in that way, just to be able to jump back and forth and to be able to pivot at any point during the day into a different stage of a character's life. And so it wasn't it was a challenge, of course, but it wasn't something like out of the ordinary for me.
So we were
when you're when you're working with wonderful people around you that are there to remind you like what your character had just been through or what she was thinking about in that moment, I think that's
yeah. I think when shooting with the Muppets, the greatest challenge is not block shooting. That is the greatest challenge. Is I just need one of you to be able to grab the phone that's in my hand as a Muppet. That's the greatest challenge. It's Animal. Can you just take this prop from me, please?
Yeah.
Can this not be a 6-hour setup where you need to take
Yeah, Muppets are hard to work with. And
Hey.
I hope we'll, I mean, they're a delight, but they're difficult.
I see.
But let's talk about this episode where the Muppets get to do things that maybe there were some more 6-hour setups. We start our cold open. We're back in the Mayhem van. We got a couple of Easter eggs right off the bat. We see a billboard for JJ's music app, Jfinity, in the background.
I made that.
I had a feeling you did. And then they pass a Pizza Twins restaurant. Of course, the Pizza Twins from the Great Muppet Caper. Did Saara or Lily, did you know what the Pizza Twins were before I mentioned it just now?
Both of these things are news to me. Honestly, both of these things.
So just very quickly, we had to remove stuff. You couldn't have like a billboard for like Freevee or something like that. And so they were going to remove it. Well, if you're going to remove it, can we replace it? And so that for me was an opportunity. Well, let's make it something that fits. So yeah, to have Jfinity, JJ's company, that was great. And then the last shot was just very quick, but it's like, yeah, it's a great Muppet Caper reference.
Yeah, Jeff basically made references specifically for me. This is for me to pause and be like, I see you. I get it. You're a fan too. Thank you. So the Mayhem is singing a medley of public domain songs, including She'll Be Coming Around the Mountain and Jingle Bells and Take Me Out to the Ball Game, Ave Maria, which got a huge laugh out of me. And they start debating what they should sing next. Maybe Beatles, Bowie, Jimi Hendrix. And naturally, you know, you're allowed to sing whatever song you want for free in your own van, like Stairway to Heaven. And you all kind of do this deep stare directly into the barrel of the camera, which is hysterical. This whole sequence must have come from like your own frustration in what music you can and can't use. Is that accurate?
It was Adam, right? Kind of.
Yeah, I mean, it's just right to some degree. We did have part of our budget was for music. We definitely knew that, but then yes, we're obviously playing off the fact that some things you cannot use at all, and cost more than our entire series to use. So a little commentary.
Like Stairway to Heaven, we couldn't even do the first note.
Yeah.
Whoa.
We had to cut out before they start.
They own the note? Can you own a note? All right. I mean, good for you, Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
I don't own a note. Picking up from last week's episode, we had a cliffhanger. Moog fell through the floor, and he found a secret recording studio underneath the shack. And what's down there besides the recording studio? It's Cheech and Chong, the real Cheech and Chong. What a delight to see those two again.
Saara, how excited were you to see Cheech and Chong there?
Saara knew them. She has all the records.
No, I actually did. Like my parents were like, no, like we know these guys.
Yeah.
My mom, because I started the show when I was 17, so I still had like my parents with me on set for a little while. And
we're two of the nicest people I've ever met in my life.
Oh, they're so amazing. Oh,
I'm big fans as well. I think I'll keep them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember we showed up to set that day, and my mom saw Cheech and Chong on one of the trailers, and she was like, oh. And my mom doesn't really like. My mom is so, my mom. She like actually doesn't care. Like it's very hard to impress this woman. And so, like, she was like, it's kind of cool. That was it. And I was like, that's how I know that she actually thinks it's cool, because she said kind of cool.
Asian parents ultimate compliment, like pretty good.
Yeah,
like ultimate compliment.
Yeah. Or just like the head nod. And you're just like, they recognize it.
They were a big get for us. We were excited.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
It was just the idea that maybe we could, because I didn't think they did that many, at least recently, things together.
No, I did some research into it. They've done a lot of like animated things, like things where they don't actually have to be present or interviews together or whatever. I know they had talked about doing a new Cheech and Chong movie, I don't know, in 2008 or so. So they were obviously working together. But it's rare to see them on screen in character
together
like this.
and then like they're wearing costumes that are reminiscent of their old school vibe. Yeah, it was great. I thought we were sort of making history, it felt like.
I kind of freaked out because we knew that we got them to come in. They're coming, and so I kind of tried to tailor our script to their kind of cadence, what I remembered as a kid, the mans, and how many mans they say after certain things. And I went and spoke to Tommy Chong and asked him how it felt, and he goes, "Well, yeah, this feels like us, man." I was like, "Yeah, okay,
that's a good compliment." Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I like
it
that.
was great. Felt really good. Yeah.
Were you there in the hair and makeup trailer, Lily, when they gave out little gifts?
No, I was not.
Did you guys get gifts?
I didn't get a gift.
Good.
What'd you get?
I know what kind of gifts those are. Yeah, I get it.
Gifts. For context, I was 17 and did not receive a gift.
Still, that's a great story.
Yeah,
they have a business.
That's something you're gonna tell. Not a lot of people get to say that. Yeah.
I'll tell you, Adam has never let me forget that. Because he loves to write people into his shows just so he can meet them, to have them sign his toys and stuff like that. And so he wasn't there that morning, and I hurried over with a record to have Cheech and Chong sign. And I came back. I'm like, I got my record signed. He's like, yeah. Did you get my toy car signed? I said, no, I did not. He's like, uh-huh. And he has not let me forget that I didn't get Cheech and Chong toy car signed.
That sound was such a good Adam impersonation.
Yeah.
That was really exactly the sound he makes.
It was really, really. I think it caused a great divide in our friendship.
I'm so sorry.
It's all right.
When Mook falls through the floor and you see him downstairs, there's a light that's coming through the window, and you see there's dust and smoke and little particles of things.
Dust motes and stuff.
Jeff's attention to detail, there wasn't any of that there. And he was like, you know what? We got to feel that. Can we have some of that? And it was like a couple rounds of going back with notes, but it just, you see it, but you don't realize all the details and how much detail Jeff thinks about when it comes to things like that. It's really cool. If you go back and look, it's beautiful.
Things about working on the show is I very quickly learned how much everyone cared about all the tiny details. And I really, like, as a creative, I super appreciated that, because it's definitely not like I'm going to be real with you. Day one, at the end of day one, I was like, oh, we're like 17 days behind. Like we were so behind in day one. It was because they were like, no, we're not sacrificing the details. And I so appreciated that would redo takes for the smallest things.
I think one day I went up to Lily and I was just like, how's everything going? And you're just like, I have a question. When are we going to shoot all the stuff we were not able to shoot over the past 4 days? And again, Adam and I were writing out of a hole. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? And you're like, so how's this going to work? How are we going to shoot all this? And I had no idea. And I was terrified. And I just never wanted to talk to Lily again.
But no, it was great. It was just like, oh my God, the call sheet is literally a suggestion. It's just, they're suggesting things that may or may not happen. And but it all got done and it's all amazing.
Absolutely.
Well, because there is a thing. And when we start a production, it's always something I say right away, especially for people who haven't had the opportunity of working with the Muppets. There's a learning curve that happens, and you don't catch up for 2 weeks. Right, the whole crew doesn't really become a machine. This thing that's just moving along. It takes a couple of weeks if depending on the amount of time that you have to shoot your thing, whatever you're doing. But if it's a week that you have, it takes a couple of days for everybody to get up to speed. And once that happens, it all kicks in and we kind of catch up. But it's that first thing that everybody goes through, which is, how is this ever going to get done? This is impossible. But we get there.
And that attention to detail is blatant on screen. Like we can all see it for sure. So it's much appreciated. So down in the basement here, they find a TV VCR combo. They turn it on. We see the Mayhem singing Rockin' Robin from the Muppet Show. It's from the Jean-Pierre Rampal episode, in case anyone's curious. And so great to hear Richard Hunt's voice on this show. It's been a while since we've heard him in a Muppet performance.
Yeah, playing the original Janice.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, exactly. The band starts singing along. Everyone's singing Rockin' Robin, and they are interrupted by Penny and JJ. I liked this little moment where Nora says BRB, and Dr. Teeth goes, "Oh, bring your own root beer." Like I had to rewind to be like, did I hear that right?
We just made it up. I don't know. It was just stupid. I just made it up.
So funny.
It was stupid, but I got it. I liked it. And Cheech and Chong also asks Zoot for a dime for the payphone, and Zoot holds out his hand, and the dime levitates. And it's not commented on. We don't ever come back to anything like that. We're just gonna let it sit.
They're probably the only two humans in the show that see Zoot's surreal bubble. That somehow
just tuned into that vibe.
Yeah, that they're on that level with Zoot. It's only they're the only people. Otherwise, it's just Zoot and the audience that acknowledge.
They may have given each other gifts.
What's happening? Yeah, that's right. They could have gotten Saara's gift to Zoot.
She's not going to take it, so maybe I'll hold on to it.
I mean, maybe that dime at one point was in a bag. Think about that.
A dime bag.
And Chong thanks him. He says, "Thanks, Dave." That's a reference to a Cheech and Chong thing. Yeah, Dave's not home, man.
It's also Dave Goals, by the way. It's got a double thing,
Oh, that's true.
Oh, I definitely thought that was just them talking to Dave.
I know some people. I figured some people would.
I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
Oops.
So Dave Goals the whole time was the guy who was not home.
Well,
the whole time.
The joke
it's one of their old bits. It's one of their old comedy bits.
Yeah, that's what it was written for, and then you don't realize until you're doing it that Dave's the guy who's actually performing Zoot.
Oh, that's so good. Nora and JJ are talking. Animal pops his head through the hole in the floor and says, "JJ bad." Was that hole in? I mean, I know there's holes in the floor all over the place, so I assume it's a real hole. You didn't just mat two shots together. Is that accurate?
Yeah, because we're on a raised deck, right? So the decking is 4 feet off of the ground, so it's really just a hole that's in one of the decks, and Eric is underneath.
I also want to point out, because I was, there's a lot of moments in the show where I'm proud of what we made, but in this moment, I'm particularly proud of myself because I perfectly throw that rug over that hole with such precision and aim, where I was like, ooh, I did not think I could do that. But you guys remember how proud I was of myself for doing that perfect toss? Oh, yes. An athlete, basically.
Many of those things you did.
I did notice it almost looked like CG, the way that it's a perfect little dip in that hole. Noticed
that rug was almost played by the rug from Aladdin, but because Lilly nailed it, that rug did not get the part.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk a little bit about working with Anders Holm, because you share a lot of scenes together?
Anders is just a joy to work with. He is, it's funny. He's one of those people doesn't really turn off in the best way. He's always cracking jokes. He's such a joy to work with. He's actually so sweet and kind. And so that's why I thought he did such a good job with JJ, because he really taps into a version of himself that's just so aggravating in a charming way. But I really had a blast working with him. We've actually become good friends. But yeah, there's definitely something he taps into for JJ that is I'm attracted to this guy and he's charming, but I also hate him so much. So he works that balance perfectly, in my opinion.
He's so funny. He's so clever too. His wit is just so dry at times.
So dry.
It's so great. So great.
So Nora tells the band she wants something new and fresh for their sound. Dr. T suggests switching instruments. We see the band trying a new outfit. It's their polka outfits from Muppets Take Manhattan. I assume it's the same ones. They look identical to that shot from Muppets Take Manhattan.
Yep. Well, they found them, but they had to fix them up, and I think they made one for lips.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But Nora wants a sound that skews a little bit younger than their classic rock feel, so maybe a hot new music collab. And that's going to be kind of the theme throughout this episode, all these collaborations. Nora and Moog have a conversation outside. He wants to help the Mayhem because he knows the sound so well. And to prove that he's got producing skills, he opens up his trailer and we see the bed folds down. We
should talk about the trailer.
Yeah.
I wish Adam was on this.
Talk about the trailer.
Tell me all about this trailer. Yeah.
This scene with Moog revealing his trailer is probably, I'm going to say, the scene that was most reshot in the entire series. I think we shot that scene 3 times. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It could be right. I think it was 3 total. Yeah.
Moog's trailer looked super different the first time we shot
The interior.
The interior really different. It wasn't as modern. It was much more DIY, things falling from random places. It was so cool, but then it got redone to be more modern. But we shot the scene 3 different times. So I feel like I still have that scene memorized, and I will go to my grave with that scene because it is muscle memory.
Can I say we did shoot 3 times, but I don't think we shot the whole scene 3 times. We shot the whole scene twice, and then we had to do a pickup or something, right? To do it again on a green. What was it? Wasn't it like we had to do a
the
pickup or
second
something?
time we shot it, we had the location again, but because we had to
Right.
do a pickup, we did not have that shack location. So
That's
I think
right.
we did do a green screen. But I remember me and Thaj, when we were at the premiere, we were like, okay, it's either gonna look like how we shot it, or they're gonna have CGI'd it and it's gonna be a spaceship now, because it could
Totally,
be anything
right?
at this point.
And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, it's empty. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Especially because Nora goes like, wow, that's impressive. And it would be so impressive. It's like, look, I produce albums in a void. There's nothing here. I would be impressed by that.
Totally.
I'll say that I preferred the original one, to be honest. That was my take. I just thought it was, in my mind, what I imagined was Moog's trailer. More posters, more, like a guy been living in it for a long
DIY,
time.
yeah.
Yeah. And this new one, which I get too. I mean, I understand the reason behind it and why Adam liked it, but it felt a little more like, the West, or some like hip hotel, in the back of your trailer. But it's pretty cool. I mean, the idea was to have these drop down things that open up, and he was kind of mechanically inclined, and he had a cool space, but the decor was the difference, really.
Right.
Shout outs to the team that makes all of that really
Oh
cool
my
stuff
God.
work, because there were a few takes where I was like, wow, and I'm reacting to the shelf going, and like nothing working, and I was like, wow, that's so cool. But they got it to work, and it was awesome. But it's a lot of pieces and bits and bobs for sure.
Yeah.
So that's more of a compliment to your performance, that you're able to look at an empty room and go, whoa.
Did I just actually compliment myself? Fine, I'll take no, but
Yeah.
when I'm saying it was such a difficult thing to execute, and I feel like shout outs to just the crew that makes all of this stuff, whether it's the hot tub that Teeth is in or the truck that Moog is, it's really impressive.
Right. Yeah,
absolutely. The next scene is Nora in Janice's bedroom. She has moved in, and it's a cool room, like the stained glass on the walls, and the floor is completely covered in pillows.
Beautiful.
One of my favorite scenes of the series too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, beautiful.
I think the reason is because it was one of the scenes, I'm going to say for me, the number one scene where I could not see any human while shooting that scene. In most other scenes, whether, it was a hot tub with Teeth, you could see people in green suits or blue suits, or you see people under the deck, but there was no deck that was visible to me, and there was no human at all visible to me. So this is one thing I was like, Janice is absolutely moving by herself and a real human being right now. And it really was like super trippy for me to shoot, and super hard to walk because of all the pillows. So I was just like in a different world while shooting that scene.
And then the complete opposite is it was probably David Rudman's worst scene, because he didn't have any other space except to be through a hole and stuck under there.
But what an easy way to hide a puppeteer is to have a room that's completely filled with pillows.
Right.
Well,
that
he was
really
still
well
through the floor, because all the pillows had to be supported. So he still was there was just a hole for him that his arm went through, and everything was dressed around it.
And then Rudman's being operated by Eric.
That's right. And actually, for people who don't know too, we have these kind of 4 foot by 4 foot square decking that we use to make these rooms, so that we can take them in and out to create holes and spaces for the Muppet performers. And sometimes we use a 2 foot by 4 foot piece, so it's half, and we lay the pillows down, and so at least we have a little more air to breathe and see things and have somebody assist us. So it's not just always a hole. I was exaggerating a bit, but still, probably Dave is not his favorite, but I'm glad it worked for you, though. That's good.
Janice is very excited to have a new roomie. They're going to stay up late, braid each other's hair, use astral projection to dream share, be just like sisters, which maybe wasn't the best thing to say, because there's still all this contention between Nora and Hannah. And it's a shame, because Hannah is the only one that Nora knows who has all these celebrity connections. And as she says that, Lips pops in, says a bunch of nonsense, because he booked a whole bunch of famous musicians because he knows everyone. How convenient that he happens to be here.
Totally. Everyone always asks, like, in so many interviews, people asked if you could be friends with any Muppet. No offense to anyone else, but like Lips has the connections. I think we set him up as this character throughout the series where he knows that everyone's a phone call away. He knows everyone. So this scene makes total sense.
And not even just celebrities. Like he knows the best, plumber.
Right.
Right. He just knows everybody. Everybody loves Lips.
Do you only want to be friends with Lips so that he can hook you up with other celebrities? Do you just want to use him as a friend?
That's the only reason. I do think the key to friendship is not always completely understanding your friends, because sometimes they say annoying things. So I feel like less arguments would happen if there was they say communication is the key to success, but Lips has proved otherwise.
Oh, that's a good point. So now we see Hannah for the first time in this episode. She's got Janice on her Instagram live for a makeup tutorial. I like that the first thing you do is you say, we're going to start with the light shadow to open up the eye a little bit, which is hysterical because Janice and her eyes.
Yep,
and Janice is using everything as a metaphor for sisterhood, trying to convince Hannah to open up to her sister, and you know how it goes. Janice has this life mission to bring people together. Like, remember the time the Rolling Stones broke up? They didn't, because Janice kept them together.
The Stones never broke up.
They never broke up. Thanks, Janice.
One of our writers is also named Hannah, and it became a very difficult thing to navigate in the writer's room when we'd refer to Hannah, the character, and Hannah, the writer.
I had trouble with the name at first too, because Hannah's my cousin's name.
Yeah.
Like,
really?
It was like, yeah, and my cousins are like my best friends. Like, they're like my siblings.
Yeah.
So we all grew up around each other. It wasn't like those cousins that like live across the country that you saw like every once in a while.
Right.
Cousins and I are like besties. And so it was weird at first. I was like, this is not right.
It's confusing.
It was
our writer Hannah was Banana. We called her Hannah Banana, so she was referred to as Banana.
That's so wild, because I have an uncle named Dr. Teeth, so that's so
Oh my
God, that's amazing. I have lilies in my yard.
So Saara, did you get any advice from Lilly on like how to be an influencer? Because obviously Lilly has such a huge following, and this is like your whole deal.
No, actually,
no,
we didn't have any conversation. I mean, Lilly is, herself and iconic as she is, but like I think also as when I was shooting the show, 17, 18-year-old, I mean, social media and whatnot just comes very naturally, whether or not you're super active on social media or not. I think growing up, as a part of my generation, it's just something that is part of the zeitgeist. It's just like something you live and breathe, whether or not you're on social media or not. Your friends are going to be talking about things, or you're just going to pick things up along the way. And I was definitely one of those little girls that like would take the family iPad and like make little vlogs by myself. And I still do. Like, you can ask all my friends, like I'm the friend that like takes videos of everyone, or like we'll vlog the day and be like, hey guys, like we're going to the beach today. This is my friend, whatever. And like, so it wasn't totally unfamiliar. Like doing makeup tutorials with Janice by my side felt very similar to like when I would set up my like iPad with my cousins when I was younger and like do their makeup and it look atrocious, but like it was just for the fun of it. So yeah, no advice from Lilly actually,
and to be fair, I was gonna say she doesn't need it. I think Saara like shines in this episode, and I love the scene of her doing Janice's makeup, and she absolutely did not need my advice because she crushed it and probably did way better than I could have ever guided her to do.
Well, too, also can I just say, like, Saara's very different from this character. Saara is a very grounded, real like person. She's
taller,
sweet,
too.
And a little taller. But the adjustment that she made to play this character, it's not an easy thing to do because she's still real and she's playing a very real person. But there's an air about Hannah that you feel when she's in a room or she's talking or she's, it's like this. It's what a good actor does, and it's amazing in this episode. It's really great.
Okay, we can stop now.
It's true, but it's true. It's true. People sometimes think when someone's playing a character, they kind of put them together and they think that's the person. Oh, that's how they must be. When you're good at what you do, that's when people connect to you like that. And I just think it's important to know that Lilly and Saara both, just amazing. I mean, there's just great
Taj less
performances
so, I
going
think,
on.
but yeah,
Who?
yeah,
Who?
Taj.
Well, Taj, we replaced,
Yeah,
you know,
a
a
lot
lot
of
of his face, and
He was okay.
This bit is getting so old, guys.
Yeah, the CG is great of
Yeah.
Taj. It really is. It helped a lot with the expression and emoting, you know. So thank God for CG.
So back in the studio, we're starting to get a medley of Rockin' Robin, versions of Rockin' Robin with different celebrities. The first is Kesha. Lips was the one who told her to drop the $sign out of her name.
That's true, though. That part was true.
But it's also great that she's just willing to kind of poke fun at the fact that she had a $sign in her name for most of her career. And she does a deep dive into the lyrics and discovers that the Rockin' Robin story is really tragic. You know, like he rocks in the treetops all day long. Is that his choice or is that society's? That's a good question.
I love it. It's so good.
It was really funny.
Now, Lily, you're on the other side of the glass for these scenes. Are you actually there? Because you don't share.
No, my one beef with this series is that I did not get to actually be there because of the way the schedule worked out for Kesha, for designer, and who was the last one again? It was
there's Ziggy
Dead
Marley
Mouse.
and Dead Mouse.
Marley, yes. Yeah. Oh, how could I forget
And
Ziggy Marley? I was actually most upset about. I'm a huge Barb Marley fan. In fact, the tattoo, which is covered right now because I'm in production, but is real. My One Love tattoo is real.
How about that?
I remember
Wow.
begging production, being like, I want to be there, but it didn't work out. We were there, but as fate would have it, subtle flex, I was at a party and I ran into Kesha and I had a conversation started because I was like, hey, I know that you shot with the Muppets, and she was just overjoyed at the experience. And that is like the magic of the show, when you meet people who are superstars that have the exact same reaction to the Muppets. And so me being able to hear her be like, it was the coolest thing I've ever done. And I was like, wow, like you get it, because this is what I get to do every day. So it's cool.
That's so cool. I love hearing that. Yeah, as you mentioned, Ziggy Marley is the next one. He is a rare celebrity who has the Henson hat trick. He worked with the Muppets, he worked with Sesame Street, and he worked with the Fraggles, the Fraggle Rock. There's not many people who could say that. And of course, he sang the song Love Power during the credits for Muppet Treasure Island. Let's all sing it together right now. No?
Love
you don't know
Power. I do.
Well done, Bill. You were in the movie though. So and he can't do the song. His heart is broken because Janice, she's a heartbreaker.
Broke his heart.
Yeah. The next one is my favorite. It's Dead Mouse. He does an electronica version of Rockin' Robin, and he's wearing his big mouse head. All the Mayhem members have their own mouse heads, which is such a great visual. They're all bumping around, falling down.
I was amazed that we were allowed to use him. I thought for sure there was some lawsuit that had happened in the past where Disney did not like him using the mouse head. That being but no, it's all good.
I think those are some of the coolest costumes of the series too. Those dead mouse heads on the Muppets.
Yeah, those Muppet heads are beautiful.
Yeah. I remember pausing it and just like appreciating every single one and realizing that like each of them looked exactly like their character, but I don't know. I thought it was the coolest thing. I was like, maybe this is a Halloween costume.
Yeah.
And so much work put into those for like 5 seconds of content, which again, attention to detail. I love it.
These geniuses in a nutshell also meant to me for 5 seconds that spend 18 hours making it, 5 months writing it. That is
not like you have a grudge a little bit.
I know. I was gonna say, is this Lily complimenting or is this her venting and like?
No, I loved it. I'm telling you, I actually, especially coming from late night where it was very like, just get it done. It doesn't matter. I so appreciated walking into a space where it was like, no, it needs to be perfect because we have a vision. I loved it.
One little thing, because I come from an editing background and I do trailers mostly, and it's all that kind of style stuff. And we had a bunch of terrific editors who come from the sitcom world, but whenever there was an opportunity to throw in some style or do stuff to music, that's when I like leaned, forward. And I'm like, can we just try this to do? And so the edit to Dead Mouse, that sort of the flutter
That's
cut,
great.
That was my thing where I was like, can we just try this? Just to
that's great.
Yeah.
I think
Great
it was
transition.
cool. And it catches you off guard too, which I like. I'm watching it when we were binging it when it came out on May 10th. I'm like, what's happening? Oh, right. That was my suggestion. Nice.
The last celebrity here is Designer. He's doing a mumblecore rap version of Rockin' Robin with Lips on lead.
This is another one that Adam, from the beginning, we have to do this. This is my hill to die on. It has to be right. And so I think we went through many iterations of this to make this happen. I think it's just such a funny idea when you have, you know, these three characters who barely talk or do mumble or, you know, utter single words at a time. And it looks terrific too.
And my favorite detail about this is, you know, Animal and Zoot are singing backup, and Zoot is saying rap song.
Which changed, actually. It was a different thing, but that came later,
what was it before?
which was a great ad. Whoop.
Yeah, it was just, I think,
it just sounds.
Whoop.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop. Yeah.
Rap song is
mumble.
funnier.
It was a
yeah,
mumble.
right.
rap song.
Yeah. The band is listening to the new tracks. They're digging this designer mix. And Moog notices that the band is not into it. And of course they seem enthusiastic. Nora asks, you know, what do you guys think? And they all cheer a little bit. And Floyd has his "we did it" moment, which is such a meme worthy thing. I'm surprised that we don't see that gif all over the internet. We did it.
It's all the crew, and everyone said from then on, whatever we would finish a scene or a moment, it was we did it. We'd move.
We
on.
did it. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
One is we did it, and then the other thing the crew always said, like for example, when they're like, "Hey guys, we're probably gonna wrap at 9," I'd be like,
lies.
Yeah.
Lies.
Yeah, this is a great joke. Also, you know, when Moog points out, you know, that the band is always happy, and you know, he brings up the fork and they have the same reaction. You know, we did it. It's such a better version of the joke that was in all the trailers for the 2015 Muppets sitcom, where Scooter's saying like the band is always happy legally now. And you know, obviously that's a thinly veiled drug reference, and this is just so much more like, no, they're just happy, and we can find a lot of humor in the fact that they're just enthusiastic about everything. So I think that's a good update. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but that's at least how I took it.
No, it had no reference to the old one.
Yeah. Great. Janice is doing yoga with Hannah in this next scene. She's still trying to mediate between the sisters. And Janice tries healing sound bath. She hits a gong. A therapeutic trust fall. She falls backwards. A light lobotomy. She has a power drill. And then a Karamo karma cleanse. And hey, it's Karamo from Queer Eye. And I'm such a fan of the new Queer Eye. I did a little like, oh, the first time I saw this. Was he as nice in real life as he seems on television?
I have so many stories from this scene.
Really?
One being the fact that this is one of the audition scenes.
Oh,
it changed a lot. I don't know if I'm even allowed to say.
Oh, right. It was written right. Yeah, maybe not. It was written for a different actor.
It was very different, but very much the same in many ways. It was still yoga. It was still, you know, me and Janice. But important to note, when I was filming this as an audition, like you guys had changed the name Janice. So like I didn't even put two and two together. It was like Jane or something. I don't even remember. Or like Jessica, like I don't know, just some other like female coded.
Yeah, it was because we didn't want it to go out to all of the different places. People know it's a Muppets thing.
Yeah, exactly. So I just like I just didn't put two and two together. So I just like treated this. I didn't even think in my head that, oh, this is like a scene where this character is talking to a Muppet. Like in my head, like I was just talking to a human being, and I think that served me because like
absolutely,
yes, for sure.
Doing. But yeah, Karamo is amazing. Such a beautiful person. Another story from this scene. Karamo helped me decide whether or not I was going to go to college that year.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
So I had just come back from Visitas, which is like my school's like incoming freshman like visit weekend.
Yeah.
And I had just come back and I was like, okay, I know I'm going to the school, but I don't know if I'm going to take a gap year or not. And for some reason, the decision was really stressing me out. It was just like, it felt like this life-altering decision of whether or not I should take a gap year or not. And I remember Bill, we were talking about it because your son was on a gap year.
Jackson was taking a gap year, right?
Jackson was on a gap year,
Yeah.
and we were talking about school and whatever, and then I had mentioned it to Karamo. I was like, yeah, like this is what's going on, man. Like that's the life update. Like I can't tell you much else. Like I'm shooting the show and I'm deciding about school. And he just gave me this really beautiful advice about, he was like, I understand like having immigrant parents and like just like the pressure and whatever, but like really just like follow your heart, do what makes sense, like listen to the signs around you in the universe and all these different things. It was a whole moment.
Wow.
And the fact that we were doing yoga and like, I don't know, it was a whole thing.
You had your own Karamo episode, his new show, right?
I did. I had my own moment. But anyway, a lot came out of that scene. I decided to go to school right after.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I love your frustration at the end of the scene.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yelling at Karamo.
Oh.
Very, very
Yeah.
fun. Karamo.
What do you say? Yeah, don't you put your me, Karamo.
Don't use your
beautiful brown eyes. Is that it?
Healing magic.
No, healing magic.
Yes,
that's
what it is.
Healing magic on me, Karamo.
It's so good. But then he shifts his healing magic to Janice, and I love Janice's also her this line reading of her just telling him to zip it and stay in his lane, and she's like, "Okay, love you, bye."
And I love his reaction. That was like a real kind of drop open, eyes wide. And we had a couple versions, but I kept wanting to push for that because I just thought it was so. There was just nothing. He didn't say anything. He just went wide. Like what? I can't believe that just happened.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So Nora goes back to the shack and confronts Moog because in the previous scene, she played the new song for Penny, and it was not the one that they had agreed on. It's a new mix of Rock and Robin. And so they have this big argument about who knows what's best for the band. And it's great because Zoot is there to kind of cut the tension, just like between them, commenting on it as if it's like a dramatic TV show. And he mentions in the script, I have to assume it was a scripted thing, this is a narrative of very heavy duty proportions, which we all recognize as a line from the Muppet movie.
I believe that's an outtake from the Kesha scene, right? Doesn't he say?
Well, no, it was added. It was the line wasn't there for this.
It wasn't
scene.
there. I know. I thought we grabbed it from somewhere.
And then I think Adam thought it would be because we were trying to connect Zoot a little more to their conversation.
Yeah.
And we used a shot of Zoot saying something else.
Yeah, that.
But put these words in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great mention, great Easter egg.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the Muppet movie, you should go watch it. It's a good movie.
I like Zoot's line. Jeff, what's Zoot's line when he says, ooh, drama. What is
like this
lots
show,
of drama?
Lots of drama.
Oh yeah, I like this show. Lots of drama. That's
lots of drama.
Yeah.
It turns out that Moog's demo that he's been trying to get Nora to listen to for the past 4 episodes is made up of remixes of all the Mayhem's concerts. So he does know his stuff, and he works hard on making this sound good. Nora sees a stack of VHS tapes, and on those tapes we see Muppets at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, Muppets at Walt Disney World, which by the way is not on Disney Plus yet.
But can we just say they butt heads beautifully here, these two, because this is the first time they actually have a confrontation like this, and it's pretty heavy, you know. I just love the way that scene plays right there, because it could have been very mean, but it's just frustration and trying to, push back. It's just a great little.
I agree. I think it's a perfect balance where you still are rooting for both of the characters, and you don't leave the scene disliking. At least in my opinion, you don't leave the scene disliking. You're just like, oh, these are two people that like have their baggage and are like meeting each other in this argument, and so it leaves you really wanting them to reconnect, as opposed to like being like, oh, screw this one person, I want this one person to win. So I agree. I really like the way that landed.
Yeah, it was great.
Well, and it helps that they're both arguing because they want what's best for the band and for this album. They're not arguing because
what they think is best for the band. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. They're not arguing because they hate each other. They're not even arguing because they love each other. That will come later. Nora puts a tape in the VCR, and of course the clock reads 4:20, which is a reference to Pulp Fiction.
I think we shot at that time. I think that's actually just his
It just so happened to be 420.
Yeah, I think that one was.
Yeah, I think it just
I
happened.
do remember that was a late night. I do.
AM, right? Sorry.
2 in the morning or something. Yeah.
We hear the Mayhem singing a song in the background during the next few scenes. They're singing "God Only Knows," the Beach Boys song, which is great, and also an interesting choice that I very much appreciate, that you didn't try to do a music video for every song. We can just have the Mayhem singing a song, and it's in the background, and we can appreciate it for what it is, which is just a great cover of a great song.
Yeah, and it comes out of the demo. It's what's on the demo that
Right.
she plays, right? So
Yes.
that's what carries us through. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So Floyd comes in, tells Nora he's so lucky to have been able to make music with all of his friends for all these years, which is inspiring her to want to reconnect with her sister. Meanwhile, Janice is going back to Hannah's house, and she has a photo to show her. Hannah assumes it'll be a picture of her and Nora, and it'll convince her that they should reconcile. It would have been a very easy story beat, but it's not. This is maybe the biggest gasp I got in this entire series, that it's a picture of Janice and her twin sister. She has an identical twin. I can't believe it.
I couldn't believe it either. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
That story to unfold.
We'll see. We came up with that in the writer's room. I think when we were just doing sort of background for these characters, and we just thought that would be a really cool thing. I guess we won't go into the details of what we kind of figured out, but right. We have a cool story and cool ideas for what it could be. And we weren't sure as we were coming up with it if it was going to, come up again in the first season or not. And I think we liked what we settled on, where it doesn't, but it just lends itself so nicely to this moment and to what Nora and Hannah are going through. And it's so sweet. So sweet.
Yeah, super sweet.
I mean, I assume that later on when they're in the desert and they've eaten the bad mushrooms and Janice is in a room full of Janices, that's a bit of a reference to, maybe one of those is not Janice. Maybe one of those is her. That was at least how I read that.
Not
scene.
intentionally.
We didn't think of it that necessarily that way, but yeah.
Janice also insinuates that she doesn't know where her sister is, which is also leading to a lot of potential story. So I'm really excited for, to see what you guys have in mind. Yeah, no, that was a really, really beautiful scene. I think I want to pat David on the back for that one. I mean, I think that was that might have been one of the first scenes where I was alone. There had been other really grounded scenes with Muppets, for example, actually, I don't know if with just me, but alone with a Muppet, I think that was one of the very first really grounded scenes I had, where there was room to get more emotional, and that was when I really saw how much humanity the Muppets have, despite not necessarily being human, and their universality and their ability to speak so much to the human experience. And Janice just has so much heart in this scene. So it was so easy to just play off of David's performance, because it was so stunning and so beautiful. And my family now makes fun of me for this scene. I hope you know.
Why?
Because they're annoying. They're they can't just let it be a good scene. My cousin came over to my house 2 days ago, and she was like, "Oh, did you think of your sister when you were shooting the scene?" And because obviously it's my real sister, so they've seen us argue and they've seen us bicker, but my sister and I are also very close. So I was like, yeah, I did kind of think of my sister. Sorry, I love her. They're right. No, you don't. Anyway, it's a whole bit now in my house. Anytime this episode is playing or somebody's rewatching the show, they're as if. Sorry. And I'm wow.
Your answer to them should always just be, it's acting. I'm an actor. I don't have to think of real things.
No, because that's handing them material on a silver platter.
Right. Oh, we're an actor, are we?
Literally.
That's right.
No. My family's very good at keeping me not even grounded, 6 feet under, on the floor.
Embedded. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Amazing. So Janice convinces her that the distance between sisters may feel really good right now, but it won't feel good if they drift too far apart. So Nora brings Moog's demo back to him, admits he was right. He really does have the perfect sound for bridging the old and the new for the Mayhem, and she asks him to produce the album, which is very sweet.
Such a sweet scene.
It really is.
And I feel like I just love the way it sets up this relationship moving forward, because, you know, you see Nora, like, she has so much guard up, and I think there's only a few times in the series, but they're like really special moments where she'll actually like let that down and be like, you're right, I'm letting someone in. I think this is like the first real time you see her do that with someone one-on-one, which is like really special.
Yeah,
absolutely.
she has the moment where she kind of comes clean about the lies in the previous thing, but this is the first time with a person that she's admitting she's not really, you know, right, and knows what she's doing, which is great. So
trusting of someone else.
I also got to give a huge shout out to a crew member by the name of Banner, who is the only reason the door of that trailer stayed open during that scene, because the hardest part of that scene was the hardest part of the show was opening that trailer door. It's like rocket science. It's legit rocket science, but opening that and swinging it, shout outs Banner for your service.
Wow. I was just gonna say that, and Moog's reaction when you leave is so great. That moment alone where he's just like, he can't believe it's gonna happen, you know.
And then the next shot is Nora turning to camera to start.
Yeah,
just great. Just you're confident, you're excited. Let's do this.
Absolutely, you're making all the right choices. Yeah. Janice brings Hannah back to the shack, and Hannah admits that she really does need her big sister. And here's what I love about the scene. It's a great scene. I love that Hannah comes in heart open, and Nora is like, what's wrong? What do you need? And like, oh my God, like you're kind of gobsmacked by your sister hugging you. But then Janice is looking on, and again, like we're talking about David's performance as Janice in this episode, but there's something, it's such a simple little thing, just like the little, you know, head is cocked a little bit to the left, and her her hands are at heart center, and it just is a really heartwarming moment.
Totally. And, you know, just to go off what Saara was saying earlier, so I tap into a lot of my real life for Nora, but not in my experience. So my real sister is 6 years older than me and did raise me a lot. So she is actually Nora. And then I, in real life, was the influencer. You know, I was Hannah. And so I really am tapping into things my sister has said to me, how my sister and I have argued about things. And so it's been a really interesting experience, because I feel like shooting this scene, like I think I went home and I was like, oh man, maybe I was an annoying little sister to my real sister. Maybe this has taught me the universe is like, we're going to give you this role so you see how annoying you've been. But it was just really special because I did get to tap into something real there.
I remember you brought that up when we were meeting with you. And I think we all sort of, even though we were on Zoom, we're like, wait a second here. There are so many parallels here.
Yeah.
How she is Nora. I mean, she's not Nora. She's saying that she's Hannah, but she's Nora. I mean,
but I'm so familiar with that experience. And I think, you know, my little sis Saara killed it in this scene. She's just a stunning performance, you know.
So good.
That hug is like, even I mean, I was there, but I still watch it and I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it gets me every time. And then she turns and says, thank you, that little whisper.
Yep.
So good.
I've said it before, but I love watching your relationship between the two of you just grow and develop over the course of this season.
I would also say it's one of the relationships that had the most amount of tweaks. You know, a lot of how we met Nora and how we met Hannah and how we learned about the relationship, those scenes were shot and tweaked and gone. So I feel like it's been like refined and fine-tuned to this place that's really special and cool. So shout out.
Jeff brought up a point. We were looking at like, I won't say a scene, the scene where we shot later where you're in the from episode 1 where you're in the record store. And the fact that you guys had got to know each other over time before we shot that really fed that, and you really feel like you guys are sisters there.
Having to reshoot that was one of the greatest blessings that we got. Sometimes you're just like, oh, we screwed up, and we did, and that was our writing. But then just the blessing of it was that by that point in shooting, you were sisters. You were close. You knew each other. You liked each other, you know, and it just shows on that. It was
great. So because before they didn't like each other at all.
No, you did not like each other at all.
They did not like each other in the beginning.
Like is a strong word. Yeah, that was a really beautiful scene. But Lily, do you remember our marks for that hug? Like the hug looks really beautiful on camera, but our marks were weird. Remember we had to hug like kind of like, do you not like it was just odd, and so it was kind of uncomfortable because we had to like make sure I think it was like I kept getting like blocked, like you were blocking the light, and so I had to like
turn. So for you to turn to Janice, like it looks good on camera, but in person you were like cranking.
I was like cranking my neck. I was like, thanks, Janice. It was it was a lot.
In general,
but it looked
anything in
great.
Janice's room is a challenge because of the space, but also like I'm gonna say walking on pillows is like walking in sand. You know, it's very hard to catch your balance and like find your mark and like all that type of stuff. So I always thought it was a little challenging to shoot in Janice's room.
Your pillow nest.
Yeah, the pillow nest.
Bill, I remember this scene was also really special because at this point, by the time we were filming this scene, like we had become better friends. You and my dad had become pretty close.
Ali.
And you came I remember you were like, maybe you were writing or something. But
I think we were shooting on the other stage at the same time.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Going back
I
and
don't
forth.
even know these things. But then you came back just for this scene. I remember you like telling was it Matt that directed this one? Yeah,
I think so.
I think so. Yeah. You going to Matt like, don't wear her out. I remember you saying that. You're like, it's fine. I'm fine. Like, I'm good.
Because I was watching you, and every take was just, there was just great stuff in every one, and I just thought, I don't know. It was, to be honest, the note was not only just to look after you, but like, Matt is a great director, and he just really wants to pull all that stuff, so, it was just, I felt like we got it. And I felt like several times it was great stuff, but he was like, no, let's do just one little,
No, you were so sweet. I'll always remember that.
So you guys hadn't seen any of the show until the night of the premiere, right?
Yeah.
And now I assume you've seen the show. You watched the show.
Yeah.
Your favorite episodes? I'm sure it was all like just a shock to see it all.
I'm telling you, this is one of my favorite episodes.
This episode 7 as well. But honestly, like this is one of my favorite episodes just because of like the sister storyline.
So sweet. Yeah, this was the one that I felt when we were watching. I was like, this is our show. We got here and this feels like our show. The pacing, the humor, the balance, so nice. And then the human emotion of it, so great.
Well, just to wrap up the episode, our final scene, Nora has ditched the idea of collaborations with other artists and tells the band they could just record new stuff on their own. So the band is going to go record a new song, and they got nothing. There is no new stuff. Cliffhanger. Disney Plus is going to love this.
I love the 1, 2, 3.5. And I love the execution of Bill's 4. I laugh out loud every time. 4. So good.
I also have to assume this is kind of what it was like, for the people who were writing the music. Jeff, maybe you felt this way of just like, so we'll just write new Mayhem songs and go. And something will come out, right? I mean, that's kind of how that's the first stage of songwriting, I think.
Yeah. There should be a whole podcast about doing the music for our show. It's tough. It's a tall order. You want to do the Mayhem proud. You want to serve our story correctly. You want to make a rockin' album, and it's a lot. It is a lot. Yeah. I mean, to go back just very quickly, just even to have God Only Knows works. It's a huge turning point in our episode story-wise. Nora has to listen to something in that moment that convinces her that Moog is the right person to do this. And we wrote, that it was going to be God Only Knows. And we just put this on Linda Perry. All right, produce the version of the song that's going to convince her, and also audiences. Audiences need to hear it. And what is that? What is that thing? You don't want to change the Mayhem, but it's got to be something, that feels new, that feels different, that doesn't sound exactly like God Only Knows and its famous open. It was such a tall order all around. And this was certainly one of the biggest challenges. I think we pulled it off the moment.
I think you did.
Yeah, for every song. It was something.
If my opinion counts for anything, I think you pulled it off real well.
I love speaking to people like you because you've taught me things about the series. Like hearing you talk, I'm like, oh, those are things I didn't catch at all. So thank you.
Of course. I mean, look, this is what it is to be a Mayhead, basically. Where like we are going to have a different viewpoint of this stuff because we're looking for those Easter eggs. We're comparing it to the old stuff, which we have, encyclopedically filed away. But we have all this stuff like filed away in our brains. So of course, like, if Dr. Teeth is going to say something, I'm thinking about when Dr. Teeth said something similar in 1979 when Bill was not a part of the troupe. So, I'm putting those ridiculous things together that nobody cares about but me and the people listening to this podcast.
I'm so sorry you go through that. I'm so sorry.
It's a nightmare. So Saara and Lilly, as we're wrapping up, do you have any other memories from the show or stories that you want to share, or just general reactions to the series as a whole, beyond this episode?
Wow, I mean, there's so much.
I mean, there's so much. I know that was a tall question.
That's a big question.
Yeah, quick. You got a minute and a half.
I'll just say I think it's an honor and a privilege to be surrounded by such incredible performers and castmates and crew members and writers and producers and everybody. I think this show, after coming home from press tour and releasing the show, and it just kind of like being out in the world now and it being a real thing, because for some reason to me, like until my projects are like officially out into the world, they don't exist yet. And I try to like block it out of my memory. I'm like, no, this hasn't happened yet. But now that it's kind of like out and people are having reactions to it, I've had the time to sit back and kind of reflect on the whole journey and kind of process it all now, like a year later. And I think when you're in it and you're doing a dream project like this, you sometimes don't realize what you're doing in the moment. And you kind of try to pinch yourself then, but you don't, it doesn't really click until much later. And I think over the past little while, it's all really started processing for me. And I've been able to sit back and realize just how freaking magnificent these people are. And I don't know. I think I'll be thanking my lucky stars every single day for crossing paths with all these wonderful human beings and Muppets.
Just to add on to that, I'll say I do remember a day when me, Saara, and Thaj, I don't think Anders was on set this day, where our names were announced as part of being the cast, and we were like having a breakdown. We were like, oh my goodness, we are the annoying humans that are going to be part of the Muppets, and people just want to see the Muppets. And we were a little stressed about, we're very aware that the Muppets are so beloved and people want to see the Muppets, and we wanted to do justice and make sure people knew that we were there to like make them shine and like be there to compliment, not to take anything away from them. And so we were really stressed before it came out, honestly, about just like how people would react. But I think, kudos to the writers and the creators and the producers, because I think that balance is so perfect. And I hope people, when they watch the show, diehard Muppet fans, can feel that we're not, I'm just gonna be real, we're not there to take the spotlight. It is about the beloved Muppets, and we're there to just like bring ourselves to their world, and so, but I do remember I remember because I had 2 scoops of ice cream that day. I was like, oh my God, I had to rank that Muppets world. But it's been such a joy and such an honor, and the reception has been great. And it's just, I guess, to all the Mayheads, thanks for letting us be part of your world, because it's been super cool.
Well, and thank you for bringing so much joy and humanity to this project and your talents. You did a wonderful job. The series is great. And thank you for being here on this podcast. What a joy it's been to chat with you both for the past hour.
Thank you.
And thank you, Bill and Jeff. We'll hopefully see you again next week back here on this podcast. Thanks, everyone, for listening. And we'll see you again soon on the Muppets Mayhem Backstage Pass. The Muppets Mayhem Backstage Pass is brought to you by ToughPigs.com. Produced, written, and hosted by Joe Hennis. Logo art by Dave Hultine Jr. The Muppets Mayhem mark and logo, characters, and elements are trademarks of the Muppet Studio. All rights reserved. Transcriptions provided by Katie Lynn Miller. The Muppets Mayhem end credits written by Mick Giacchino is used with permission. Special thanks to the Muppet Studio, Disney Plus, and the entire Muppets Mayhem family. For more from Tough Pigs, find us at Tough Pigs on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Patreon. Thanks for listening, and until next time, rock on!